Hello everyone and welcome to our weather update on Friday, August 7th, 2026. So for now we have some cloud trailing into Scotland that is on a cold front. Also a small area of low pressure cut off to our southwest. So for most of Ireland, Wales and England, it's dry, it's fair, it's sunny. But for Scotland, especially in the west, we have some patchy rain piling in on that moisture-laden flow from the west. High pressure is over us and to our south, over parts of central and southern England and the Channel and France. This cold front will gradually shift its way eastwards and southwards over the weekend. However, most of the rain again confined to Scotland, especially Western Scotland. Some getting into parts of Northern Ireland, Northern England, and parts of Western and Northern Ireland as well. But even here, amounts quite small, especially the further south and east you go. And anywhere south of the areas I mentioned, bone dry. Virtually, maybe some patchy rain and drizzle, like light rain, that won't really wet the ground to any extent. So yes, that's the kind of story. This week, we did have quite an unsettled start to the week. Some heavy rain across many areas of Ireland, Wales, Northern England, Scotland on Monday. Widespread rain, some thunderstorms as well in that low pressure system. Tuesday saw heavy showers and storms. Again, most of them were across more western and northern areas. Wednesday was similar. Some big downpours for Scotland, especially more eastern regions of Scotland. Meanwhile, it stayed bone dry across many areas of the south. Okay, so here is the UKV run. So again, this does match the current satellite we see and radar, with most areas across Ireland, Wales and England today are pleasant, quite sunny, but always more cloud and some patchy rain across Scotland. Rain is heaviest and most frequent there across the west of Scotland over the hills. So overnight tonight, so cloud will start to move in from the west across Ireland and some rain into more western counties by midnight. Rain persists across Scotland, streaming in from the west on what will be quite a moisture-laden westerly airflow. Elsewhere, it stays dry and clear overnight. By morning, we see some further cloud increasing across much of Britain. However, this will be high base cloud, so therefore, by the time the sun rises tomorrow, it will only cause the sun to go milky, not fully blocked out. So quite a bright start tomorrow. Although the cloud will be lowering across parts of Ireland and Scotland, with some heavier bursts of rain threatening to push in towards the western counties here. Now through tomorrow, the cold front gets some reinforcements. We see so the rain gets heavier through these western and northern regions here. It really does last all day across many areas of Scotland there in the west. So some heavy rain tomorrow, some high totals across the western facing hills especially. Some dribs and drabs of shower rain do make it down into Northern Ireland, parts of Ireland, and maybe the far north of England. Elsewhere it's dry, bright, if not sunny, and temperatures will start to rise as we draw the wind up from a more southwesterly direction. That would be even more notable as we go into Sunday. So overnight Saturday into Sunday, the rain straddles parts of central Scotland, edging into northern England, some drabs there, while also some rain for Northern Ireland and parts of northwestern Ireland itself. Some light showers might form across southern England, but I wouldn't take those too literally at the minute. And some showers behind the rain band also into the Western Isles of Scotland, maybe into the far north of mainland. So Sunday itself will be a hot day in the south with bright sunshine from the word go. Anywhere south of the Midlands, we again still have this band of rain on the cold front straddling those more northern regions. It's slowly starting to just slip its way southwards, just incrementally so. is quite aligned with the wind flow. So that means it's really hard to shift it away from the regions that is in. So you can't really push it through. It makes very little progress through the weekends. So again, look at that. So it's still raining into many areas of the central belt of Scotland, Northern Ireland, parts of Ireland into Sunday itself, staying dry and bright south of that, if not sunny. The rain starts to just get a bit further south by evening into Northern England, parts of Ireland there. But notice it's starting to fizzle and weaken as it moves into higher pressure. And by the time we reach Monday morning, it's into Midlands as nothing more than a band of cloud. And that has been the fate of many weather fronts that have tried to push southwards across Ireland and the UK this summer so far. So Monday, therefore, will be a dry and bright day across all areas of the country, all areas of Ireland and the UK. Maybe some rogue showers in the east of Scotland, but those will be very isolated and won't last very long if you catch one, and won't be that heavy either. Many areas seeing widespread sunshine, and temperatures may be a bit lower than on Sunday because we'll see a gentle northerly airflow, but that won't last because on Tuesday, high pressure will start to push to the east again. And while most areas are dry and bright, if not sunny, some high cloud might turn the sunshine a bit hazy across Ireland and Scotland. Still warm there and humid, by the way, but very dry and very sunny on Tuesday. Wednesday, the day of the solar eclipse. Of course, Ireland and the UK won't be seeing totality. We'll see a deep partial eclipse peaking around or just after 7 p.m. for many areas. We're watching an area of low pressure and a trailing cold front that might spoil things for the west and north. Unfortunately, with the current UKV, we only get as far as Wednesday at 4 a.m. So therefore, I think by tomorrow afternoon, we should be able to see the conditions forecasted by the high-res UKV for Wednesday evening at the time of the eclipse. Of course, we will keep you posted here. But as you can see, again, evidence is there of some showers and some heavier bursts of rain, but all you need is some clouds to put a dampener on any visual effects. Right, so here we go. Looking at the temperature forecast. So again, today is quite fresh. Yesterday was really quite fresh. In fact, yesterday I was wearing long sleeves outdoors, and even then I felt a chill. So yeah, been a bit fresher lately. Temperatures today though have recovered. I think this summer there's just too much heat around. The dry is too dry and warm. The air is too, we've got a lot of warm air nearby. So we cannot sustain fresher weather and air masses for overly long before any shift in wind direction or an increase in sunshine will rapidly heat the ground up. Today is very sunny across Ireland and the UK, and yesterday was quite cloudy, so that makes a big difference. So overnight tonight, quite a fresh night though, still under quite a cool air mass, so temperatures won't be all that bad for sleeping. Tomorrow, Saturday, look at that. Temperatures are rising again. So across many areas of the Midlands of England, eastern, southern England, high 20s. Southern parts of Ireland, Wales, Northern England, low 20s. Elsewhere, like high teens. Some areas in shelter and in sunshine will touch 20 degrees. So overnight into Sunday, so staying quite mild and warm across southern and eastern regions of England and also parts of Ireland as well. Temperatures not falling below mid-teens. That might feel quite uncomfortable for sleeping. Let's check the humidity. And it looks quite high in some areas. So, especially across East Anglia. I wonder what's happening there. very high levels there, combined with these low minimum temperatures, I mean, these high temperatures, it will feel quite muggy overnight on Sunday for some parts of Ireland and the UK, especially across more southern areas. So Sunday itself, again, temperatures will rise even more so than they will tomorrow. So highest temperatures most likely will be 31 to 33 degrees across southern and southeastern parts of England. So, Southampton up towards London and up towards Norfolk and East Anglia. Across the Midlands, across the East Midlands anyway, and across the south, about high 20s to 30 or 31. Wales, North Midlands, Northern England, and Southern Ireland, about the low to mid 20s Celsius. Much cooler, if you go north of that, with temperatures struggling in the low teens under the pouring rain that will be stuck over Northern Ireland and parts of Scotland on Sunday. They're gradually starting to slip southwards. And notice that the wind direction on Sunday will be westerly in general. So with the rain aligned as it is, not much to steer the rain along. So hence the very wet day that's forecasted in the north on Sunday. So as we go through into Monday, much fresher across Ireland, Scotland and Northern England in the wake of the cold front. However, in the south, staying mild and mild warm and quite a bit more humid, I suppose. Humid feeling. Of course, a reading of 70% of 70% humidity in temperature of like 5 degrees feels much less oppressive than it does if it's 17 or like 19 at night and you're trying to sleep. So, going into Monday, well, Monday looks to be slightly less warm than Sunday, less hot, due to, again, a high pressure just relocates, allowing a gentle northerly wind in, but that will not last long. Tuesday, again, values approaching 30 degrees, shown here across parts of the Midlands into Western England and maybe East Wales. Widely very warm, even in Scotland, temperatures getting into like 20, maybe a local 22 degrees by the Moray Firth. Some phone effects there. And then overnight into Wednesday, again, really mild. But these temperatures not really on any scale compared to the heat wave of late June. So here's the GFS 6Z run. GFS 6 says, again, high pressure is over us into the south, while low pressure is over Greenland and Iceland, over Iceland, actually, not Greenland, and steering in some westerly winds and a cold front. Now, over the weekend, high pressure, it shifts eastwards towards Northern Europe, and we drift up a southerly airflow, hence the rising temperatures and the sunshine in the south. Meanwhile, low pressure is stuck to the north, and the cold front is through more northern areas, not moving very fast at all, and it does struggle against this area of higher pressure, and hence it weakens as it moves further south of the Midlands. Now, Monday, notice what happens. So we see a little trough dig into North Sea, past the Low Countries in Germany, Scandinavia. High pressure then does relocate to our west, and that allows a gentle northerly airflow, some quite cooler temperatures in the upper air level, so hence on the surface we also experience a slight drop in temperatures, but that does not last long. As I mentioned before, high pressure moves out towards North Sea by Tuesday at lunchtime, and we drift in the wind from the southeast. Upper air temperatures with that look getting warmer, so the plus 15 ice therm getting into northern England, threatening parts of Scotland there. The plus 20 ice therm is just threatening to come across the channel there into Kent. So some really quite high temperatures on the way. Temperatures again, I think on Wednesday and Thursday will be into the low, if not mid 30s, across more southern, central and eastern parts of England and Wales, and low pressure will be starting to make a move or at least trying to, from Iceland and the Faroe Islands, or just west of that. So we will start to generate a cold front to our west through Wednesday with that low, but it does face the high pressure, which will try and resist the progress of the cold front. So I think by Thursday we've got a cold front somewhere through Ireland or Western Scotland, slow progress and weakening increasingly as it heads into the high pressure. So probably very few thunderstorms along that front, I would say. Only a few showers and lighter patchy rain, but unfortunately might spoil things on Wednesday evening for that eclipse. This is about 7 p.m. Wednesday, so peak time of the eclipse, maximum eclipse. You can see quite a bit of cloud. The further east you go, the higher the chance of it being more high base cloud. So maybe some, not as bad there, but in the west, that cold front might have some lower base cloud with it. So into the weekend, well, high pressure again, despite briefly sliding to the west, it does come back, ridging in there from the Azores, bringing plenty of drier, pleasant weather with it. Scotland always more exposed to westerly winds, as it has been recently. And we end up sort of looking rather warm and thundery from the 19th onwards. That's quite unusual, before dropping in a cold northerly wind in the wake of a thundery area of low pressure, quite a deep low pressure spawning near Denmark there. Quite a bit of a storm, long way off, probably won't verify, given how high pressure oriented the summer has been. Right, so looking at the ECM, low pressure to our north, steering in this cold front into Scotland. Rain band is aligned with wind flow, hence it won't be moving anywhere very fast, fizzling as it does eventually reach England and Wales. Now through Monday, high pressure sits over us and starts to migrate to the east, allowing the hot air to return from the south midweek. Cold front Wednesday evening, threatening to move in. So Ireland at most risk of seeing a spoiled viewing. Also, where it will be closest to the path of totality. I think areas like Cork are seeing a 97% coverage, Belfast at 93%, Dublin 94%, and the value is getting slowly lower the further east and north you go, given the path of totality will go through Greenland, Iceland, West Iceland, parts of northern Spain, and the very northeast corner of Portugal. So beyond that, high pressure does ridge back in from the Azores, like the GFS has it's doing. And then we go beyond that into a more westerly airflow. But with high pressure never too far away from the south. So in the south, you're probably you're not going to lose a drought at any point soon. So here's the UK Met run again. So north-south split of the weekend, wet in the north, dry in the south, and warming up as well, heating up. Monday, the fine weather spreads nationwide on Monday, and as the high moves eastwards, it'll get warmer and hotter again, especially in the east and south. Cold front tries to come through Wednesday to Thursday, fizzles as it does so before high pressure comes back in for the end of the week. GEM once again, a weekend where the north is more unsettled and the south is much more settled, much more summer-like and much hotter. High pressure over us on Monday starts to ridge to the east, allowing this hot air, the heat dome, to start drifting back northwards. So the upper temperatures do start to rise. It is then shunted away by a cold front that will weaken as it moves in from the west by Friday and Saturday. But even so, the Azores high will send a ridge not so long afterwards. Deep low pressure in over to our west by Monday, August 17th. Long way off. Either way, by that point, still the Azores High is clinging on to us. It really has become fond of us this summer. Icon, once again, in the north, expect a wet weekend. Rain will persist through Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, only moving very slowly southwards. Then into next week, again, same story with confidence. It's going to get much hotter or warmer in all areas and brighter as well, even in parts of Scotland. That won't last long in northwest. Low pressure, always a bit closer, steering in weather fronts. It will again dissipate by the time it reaches eastern England. Let's look at the rainfall forecast of that. Again, you notice heavier rain for Ireland, Scotland, but as it tracks eastwards, well, by the time it reaches Wales, it's nothing. And there's absolutely nothing for eastern England. By the time we get to next Saturday, I think the icon is trying to spawn a thundery area of low pressure rising from the south. Watch the space, probably won't happen, but we'll wait and see. And then here's the arpege to round us off. Well, again, expect a wet weekend in the north, drier in the south, and becoming hot yet again for the 5th or 6th time of summer, lost count. And then, well, overall looking hotter again next week. Then we watch the progress of this area of low pressure, especially as it might compromise viewings in the west of Ireland and the UK. Just might at this stage. Depends on the cloud base and how far east this low gets Wednesday evening. Everyone, thanks for watching. I'll see you. Bye for now.